How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some paranormal destinations. From a forest that allegedly swallows people up whole, never to be seen again, to a rural area of Scotland rife with UFO sightings. We take a look at 5 cursed destinations that experts warn you should stay away from. But before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome creepy content just like this.
The Alaska Triangle covers a large section of the state, reaching from the southeastern area near Yakutat up to the North Barrow Mountain region and on to Anchorage. The triangle is comprised of mountains, forests and tundra, much of it still unexplored. But within that same region, a tremendous number of individuals have gone missing, seeming to have simply vanished into thin air. Since 1988, it's thought as many as 16,000 people, including hikers, tourists, locals and flight passengers, have vanished while in the Alaska Triangle, an astounding figure making this triangle one of the most dangerous to date. In fact, the Alaska Triangle is responsible for more unexplained disappearances than anywhere else in the United States. There are almost as many theories about what's happening in the Alaska Triangle as there are people who have disappeared there. There are several legends associated with the region, including one put forth by the Tlingit people of the region. Their legend tells of the Kushtaka, a demon with shape-shifting abilities that targets unfortunate individuals who find themselves lost. The Kushtaka leads these poor people to their destruction, leaving no trace that they were ever there. Another popular, more mainstream theory is that the Alaska Triangle is a vile vortex, a term coined by cryptozoologist Ivan T. Sanderson. Vile vortices are areas around the globe that seem to display highly charged electromagnetic currents and anomalies, as well as other severe magnetic and electric disturbances. There are at least 12 such vortices, including the Devil's Sea, the Algerian megaliths of Timbuktu, and the Bermuda Triangle. It's thought that these vortices cause all sorts of unusual phenomena that can affect both machinery and people in strange ways. In particular, people may experience emotional, physical, or mental disturbances, including hallucinations, disorientation, nausea, and confusion. With regard to mechanical and electronic instruments, vile vortices can cause all sorts of malfunctions, including inaccurate readings, disruption of compass accuracy, and even complete failure of devices. Some theories involving vile vortices go so far as to state that they are actual portals, doorways to other dimensions or parallel realms, as an explanation as to where all of the people and airplanes who have disappeared in the area have gone to. State authorities offer a different explanation for the disappearances, stating that the extreme climate, uncharted wilderness and local wildlife are the reasons behind many of the disappearances. Authorities go on to note that not only do these factors make it more likely for a person to become lost and possibly injured, but it also makes it more difficult for rescuers to successfully find those who have disappeared. Other theorists believe that at least some of the disappearances can be attributed to alien abduction. There are a large number of UFO sightings reported in Alaska, many of them made by credible witnesses. Regardless whether the disappearances of so many people are due to the properties of vile vortices, demonic shapeshifters, or massive alien abductions, something highly unusual is going on in the Alaska Triangle. The Hoia Baciu Forest, often referred to as Romania's Bermuda Triangle, has a sinister reputation for a wide variety of unusual activity, including ghosts and apparitions, UFO sightings, creature sightings, strange sensations of doom and anxiety, weird vegetation, and a host of other bizarre activity. From the beginning, Hoia Baciu Forest was known as a strange and frightening place. It was named after a local shepherd who disappeared nearby along with his flock of around 200 sheep. Legends of the forest have been passed down by the locals, and most natives refuse to enter it, claiming that those who do are not likely to ever return. Those who have ventured into the forest have reported all sorts of strange experiences, with some claiming they've received physical injuries including burns, rashes and scratches, while others claim to have experienced terrible sensations of doom, anxiety and depression. Still, other individuals who have made their way into the forest report seeing strange lights, while others claim to have heard voices on the wind. Some people who enter Hoia Baciu Forest simply disappear. Some who have entered the forest and were lucky enough to return claim to have no recollection of their time spent in the woods. One such case involves a 5-year-old girl who got lost after wandering alone in the forest. 5 years later she returned, dressed in the same clothing that she had worn on the day that she had vanished. Her garments looked the same as they had on the day she disappeared, with no signs of wear or weathering. The girl had no recollection of where she had been or who she had been with for such a long period of time. Recently, the paranormal activity in Hoia Baciu Forest has taken an even stranger turn. Reports of poltergeist activity and other ghostly phenomena have been experienced. An investigator associated with a paranormal television show was thrown to the ground and scratched by a malevolent force while visiting a clearing in the forest. This clearing seems to be a particular hotspot and is described as a perfect circle with zero vegetation. Soil from the area has been tested, but nothing has ever been revealed in the analysis that would prevent vegetation from growing in the area. Sightings of strange lights, ghostly figures, malfunctioning electronics and EVP activity have also been associated with this clearing. Numerous researchers from around the world have investigated the strange occurrences in the Hoia Baciu Forest, but no definitive explanations have ever been discovered. Many theories have been considered, including the standard ideas of alien interference, dimensional portals and land curses, but none of the suggestions seem to successfully cover all the activity taking place in the Hoia Baciu Forest. The Lake Michigan Triangle covers a vast area, reaching from Ludington, Michigan to Manitowoc, Wisconsin to Benton Harbor. Strange disappearances and other unusual events connected to this triangle have been reported since as early as 1891. Bizarre occurrences continue to be reported even today, including the discovery of an underwater structure that's been compared to Stonehenge. In 1891, the schooner Thomas Hume, along with its 7 crew members, disappeared while crossing the lake to pick up a load of lumber. It's known that while crossing, the schooner encountered a strong windstorm, but it was thought that the schooner should have been able to weather the storm. After several days, a search party was sent out to look for the missing vessel and its crew, but no signs of their whereabouts were ever discovered. The Thomas Hume had simply vanished. Other unusual occurrences followed. In 1921, the ship Rosabelle disappeared while crossing the lake. When it was apparent that the ship wouldn't be reaching its destination, a search party was dispatched, and they soon found the derelict vessel. The Rosabelle was found floating overturned in the lake, and seemed to have been in some sort of collision that seriously damaged the craft. There was no sign of any other ship in the vicinity, and no reports had been made in reference to an accident on the lake. Of the 11 people who had been on the ship, no sign was ever found. They had disappeared without a trace. Yet another, even more unusual disappearance occurred on April 28, 1937. Captain George Donner of the freighter O.M. McFarlane went to his cabin after the freighter was seen successfully through the Straits of Mackinac on its way to Port Washington. As the freighter neared its destination 3 hours later, a crew member went to notify the captain, but his cabin was empty. The door was locked from the inside and the crew members had to break the door down just to enter. But there was no sign of Donner. His disappearance remains unsolved even today. Some people believe that the strange happenings of the Michigan Lake Triangle are directly related to the discovery of an ancient stone formation at the bottom of the lake. The formation was discovered in 2007 and is structured in a manner that is similar to Stonehenge. Theories have been put forth stating that the stone circle is the hub for a dimensional portal, resulting in the strange disappearances. Other theories link the disappearances to UFO activity that's been reported in the Lake Michigan Triangle. A more down-to-earth theory blames the extreme weather that occurs on the lake for the anomalous activity. Covering an area of Scotland that reaches from Falkirk to Glasgow onto Edinburgh, the Falkirk Triangle is home to a large assortment of UFO sightings that have attracted the attention of not only the locals, but also curious tourists hoping to catch sight of the strange lights in the sky. Bonnybridge, a small town near Edinburgh, claims to be the UFO capital of the world, with councillor Bill Buchanan stating that at least half of the residents in Bonnybridge have seen a UFO. 300 or more reports are made every year about the strange activity in the skies of the Falkirk Triangle, leading many to wonder what's going on and if it's actually safe to live there. The activity in the Falkirk Triangle was first noted in 1992, when James Walker first sighted strange lights hovering in the sky while he was driving home. Walker initially thought that what he was seeing were just stars, but his opinion soon changed when he saw the lights dart about and take a triangle formation. Since then, sightings have been reported at an alarming rate, and Councillor Bill Buchanan eventually wrote to the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Defence, and the Queen herself, requesting that the UFO sightings be investigated to put the people's minds at ease. Because of the publicity generated by Buchanan's contact with authorities about the sightings, even more people came forward to report their own experiences, many of them armed with footage and photos to back up their statements. While many of the sightings reported were just lights in the sky, the Sloggett family had an encounter that was up close and terrifying. While walking home one evening, the Sloggetts witnessed a strange blue light hovering in the sky. Soon they saw what they described as a flying saucer land in a nearby field. The Sloggetts then said they heard a sound emanating from the craft that suggested that a door might be opening. It was at this point that the family ran away, but they were promptly chased by two smaller vessels. The unknown crafts eventually disappeared and the family finally made it home. Skeptics believe that the multitude of sightings are a result of Scottish military bases sending experimental aircraft out on test flights. Another favourite theory of the skeptics is that Bill Buchanan himself concocted the stories of the sightings in an attempt to develop interest in his small town, which was experiencing economic difficulties. It's interesting to note that even with the controversy surrounding the validity of the reports already made, locals as well as tourists are still reporting new sightings even today. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at one of the most dangerous paranormal triangles in the world, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be completely up to date with all our latest creepy content. The Bridgewater Triangle, with borders reaching from the towns of Freetown to Rehoboth and on to Abington, is home to a variety of unusual paranormal activity, and the town of Bridgewater, Massachusetts is located right in the centre. The triangle is known for all sorts of strange happenings, including UFO sightings, Bigfoot sightings, disappearing grave sites, angry ghosts, gigantic birds, and cattle mutilations. An area within the triangle known as Hockomock Swamp is particularly known for bizarre activity. Located within the 5,000-acre swamp is an 8,000-year-old Native American burial ground. When archaeologists began to investigate the site, they noticed something particularly disturbing. The red ochre that surrounded the graves began bubbling and then proceeded to disappear right before the astonished archaeologists' eyes, with no explanation as to why this occurred. It's interesting to note that the Wampanoag tribe refused to enter the swamp because they believe that restless spirits roam the area. It's also thought that the angry ghosts of Chief Anawan and his men reside in the area. Chief Anawan and his tribe surrendered during the First Native American War at nearby Anawan Rock in Rehoboth. Numerous reports have been made of the sounds of the angry tribe in the swamp, along with the phantom flickering of their long-dead fires being spotted from the road. One of the first recorded UFO sightings took place in the Bridgewater Triangle in 1760, and the reports have continued to occur ever since. In 1968, 5 separate individuals all claimed to have witnessed a weird light hovering over Rehoboth. In 1994, a police officer spotted an unidentified triangular vessel displaying white and red lights. There are also creature sightings reported in the Bridgewater Triangle. In 1970, several reports were given involving a 7-foot-tall bipedal hairy creature in the region. The state police performed a massive search of the area with the assumption they were searching for a bear. Their hunt revealed nothing at all. Since the early 1970s, reports have also been made about enormous black birds with 8-foot wingspans being spotted in the area. One of the most frightening occurrences involving the Bridgewater Triangle has been the cattle mutilations. In 1998, two incidences in particular caught the attention of the media. The first involved the discovery of an adult cow that had been slaughtered in the woods, while the second involved several calves that had been mutilated in a grisly manner. There are also legends of bizarre murders occurring in the Triangle. From 1978 to 1988, at least a dozen individuals have been murdered in the forest. Both the cattle mutilations and many of the murders have been attributed to the work of satanic cults, but no definitive proof has ever been found. While at least some of the stories about the Bridgewater Triangle are based on pure legend, many more reports are extensively documented, intriguing investigators enough to encourage them to continue to visit the infamous triangle. Regardless of how the reports originated, it's obvious that something very strange is taking place in the Bridgewater Triangle.
Well, that's the end of another episode. Thank you so much for watching. Now, in the comments section below, let us know if you've been to any of these destinations. We'd love to hear your first-hand accounts. Slap that upward-facing thumb as well, because it lets us know you're enjoying the content. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.